Alrighty, what have we got here? So I just want to start right from the beginning. Today's going to be a multi-live stream because this pork's going to take a while to cook. So we're going to do a multiple live stream where it's going to be pork belly and painting. So pork belly and painting, I've had this, if you watched last night's stream, I've been preparing this pork since last night. It's been sitting in the fridge, uncovered. And I'm using this recipe from a Facebook page called Quack Spots. So I'm going to give credit to him for coming up with the recipe and sharing it. So that's KWOKSPOTS.com. So I've been preparing this pork since last night. It's just basically just been sitting in the fridge, uncovered, with the skin side up. And what do we do now? We're going to actually prepare it. So how do we prepare this pork? Very interesting method. I've never seen anything like it before. I'm going to put it in tin foil, and then we're going to let it sit in the oven at 300 degrees for however long it needs. So let's go ahead and move this down as we prepare our pork, and then we're going to do some painting. So pork and paint, that's what we got going on. So a little porking and painting. Now let's see, we're setting this here. It's been sitting in the fridge, and I want to show the actual recipe here. So at this point right now, we're using this recipe from quackspots.com. So I'm actually going to go to his website. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not affiliated with his pages as far as, I'm not like paid to promote him. At least not that I know of. But I do get paid if y'all buy anything from Amazon, or if you do anything like that, or if you just stick around long enough. I do earn from that. But let's go ahead and look at quackspots.com. Quackspots.com is KWOKSPOTS.com. He's got this great pork belly recipe that I've started last night, and now we're on to the second major step, which is you got to let it sit over the fridge. I already did that yesterday. And then now we got to create a little tinfoil boat, and add enough salt to cover the skin. And let's see, do some cover it with some oil or white vinegar and salt. Place it in the oven for 300, and there we go. Okay, so 300. All I need to do now is cover it with oil or vinegar and salt. So let's do that. Let's prepare. And I do have this handy. So I'm actually going to put this and cover it into here. But first, I need to make a little boat for our meat. Now, this isn't the ideal shape it's supposed to be. That's not the perfect shape, but it is a shape. And I have another one sitting in the fridge that we're actually going to cook tomorrow. But for now, we're going to go with these. We're going to go with this little bit right now. So let's go ahead and make a little boat for our pork. I think that should be enough tinfoil, right? And in a few moments, we got our air fryer back there. This is the first time I've ever had an air fryer. This is new to me, this air fryer. So I'm very excited to put it to good use. Yeah, I gotta credit my mom. Thanks, Mom, for sending us an air fryer. Never had an air fryer before, and it almost feels like I've been without a phone, right? I hear air fryers are the greatest thing that's since sliced bread for the kitchen. Oh, okay, that's my oven. It's ready to. So I marinated the bottom. There's seasoning on the bottom. Maybe that might be a little too much. Hopefully not, but we'll see. And basically, just got to form a little wall around our pork here. So let's do that. Let's do a little bridge so that it doesn't dry. We're gonna do a little bridge right here. Or what do they call it? A little boat, not a bridge, a boat. It's called a boat, not a bridge. And then this area right here, we're just gonna fold that up. Let's go. I'm going to do this, fold that up, and the oven's ready, which means I can just throw it in the oven right when we're done with this. But here's what's interesting about this recipe is the prep work that actually goes into it, because you can't just chuck it in the oven. You got to pour some salt on top of it, cover with some vinegar, and let it do its thing in the oven. So I'm actually going to dump this right into our little dish right here so I can easily take care of it. Let's see right here. We're just gonna put this into here. The pork belly. Again, if you're just tuning in, the recipe is from quackspots.com. KWOKSPOTS.com. I'm not paid to advertise for him. I'm not affiliated with him. But, you know, it's a great recipe. So I decided to try it out. And with that, so what's the next step from what he wrote? I got to cover this with salt and some vinegar. I guess I'm going to use vinegar. But I think what he does is he uses like oil, but I'm going to definitely coat it with vinegar. So we're going to coat it with a little bit of vinegar here, and then we're going to cover it with salt. So salted and vinegared, and that's what we're going to do. So just pour this vinegar across the top, and I like vinegar. I love the taste of vinegar. That's my favorite potato chip is salt and vinegar. So that's why I'm going with vinegar. Tomorrow, maybe I have another one ready. I might use oil, but let's just go ahead and spread this with our fingers. I think vinegar is also going to help it dry better, I think. I mean, why not, right? All right, so let that go across the top, and now let's go ahead and cover it with salt. So they say that they want like coarse salt. So I'm actually going to use some sea salt. Or actually, I should probably use the other sea salt because it's thicker. I have a couple versions of sea salt. So this is Himalayan pink crystal salt, and it's kosher. So it does not support iodide, which is fine. What we do here, we just throw this crystal salt across the top. You know, we can mix it with the other salt too, probably. You know what? We're just going to go like this. Do this and a little bit of Himalayan pink salt because it's got the crystals on it, which I think is necessary for this recipe. So just a little bit. You know what? The whole idea is that we're drying it out right now, from my understanding. So what do? And then we're going to let this sit for an hour and a half. I'm going to go paint, and then we're going to come back. We're going to come back to this. Actually, no, a little bit more Himalayan pink salt. I haven't even used this Himalayan pink salt since I got it, so plenty of opportunity to use it. This is a perfect opportunity to use this thing that's been sitting for like forever. Just sitting in my kitchen. So just let it. Now you're supposed to use regular salt. It doesn't say Himalayan pink salt, and I don't really know if there's a difference. Maybe there is a difference, but we're gonna go like this. And look at that. We've got a nice little layer of salt on top of our pork belly. Our oven is ready. So let's go ahead and throw this in the oven for 1.5 hours. So I might need to prep my air fryer, which means I'm probably only going to set my timer for like an hour and 15 minutes. Alexa, set timer for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so 1 hour and 20 minutes will give me an extra 10 minutes to prep my air fryer. In fact, I'm going to look up instructions right now to figure out this air fryer that we just got. What's up, Scout? What you talking about? My cat was talking to me. He said, "Rah." So sometimes you got to ask him what he wants, right? All right, let's wash my hands before I mess with our air fryer. Because touching pork, you want to keep your hands clean. You want to keep things clean. Cat, Scout, what makes you think you could be up here, huh, dude? Trying to be a part of the show? Cooking with cats. That could be a show, except it probably wouldn't pass inspection. Right, Scout? You probably wouldn't pass a food and health and safety inspection, would ya? Cooking with cats. Not cooking cats, cooking with cats. Around. Cooking with cats around. That should be the name of the show. What's up, dude? So tell us. What's your favorite food? You gonna talk to us, or you just gonna sit there looking handsome, huh? Scott, look at me. What's up, man? You jumped up here for a reason. You want attention or something? Right? You want attention. You got it. You want attention, you got it. You want a treat? Probably wants a treat. What you doing, dude? Sitting right on the corner. This guy. Right on the corner, this guy. Let's see. What's Mr. Scout doing? What is this cat doing, huh? What do you think you're doing up here? Look at him on the little corner, the perfect little corner, his feet just matching up this little corner right here. Come here, buddy. Give me a hug. I'm gonna give you guys some treats so you don't bother me. Let's see. Here we go. Perfect treats. So I'm actually gonna give them a little handful of these treats. Pounceables. Got these the other day. Gonna throw them a nice little collection of Pounceables, and that should hold them off till tomorrow. All right, so what about this air fryer? Yo, Ronald Goat, what's up? Thank you. And we got Hamradical. He sees spirit. I don't know what he sees. He sees some. He definitely sees things that I probably don't. All right, so let's get to this air fryer. Let's put our dirty dish in the sink. Still have some dishes from the other day. Okay. And so this air fryer came with instructions. So I'm going to look at the instructions right now so I'm not scrambling to figure it out when the pork is ready from the oven. I just know that we're going to have to do about 30 minutes in the oven or in the air fryer. So here we go. Let's go look at this instruction book, right? This is a Gourmet, the 7-quart digital air fryer. And let's see how this goes here. See if there's anything I really need to figure out. Like, you know, if I move this away from the wall, I know I'm going to have to plug it in. So let's just do that real quick. Let's just plug it in and see what sort of things I have to do in order to make it work. There we go. It made a sound, so it sounds like it's going in the right direction. Okay, that's on. Do I even need instructions? I feel like I could just figure it out by pressing buttons. So what would I do? I would do air fry. No. Temperature? Oh yeah, so I would do 400. I think they want it. Let's see what his Quack Spots say. Quack Spots says 450 Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. Let's see if that even works. So oh no, hopefully this isn't. It maxes out at 400. That's not good. That's not good. Let's see. Place it into an air fryer. Broil, bake for. Let's see if I can get it to 450. Bake for 450. Oh, this maxes out at 400. Well, that's not good. Because I don't know. Should check that out. So the recipe asks for 450 for 20 minutes. On the highest temperature. So I guess I'm just gonna have to air fry for 100 for 20 minutes and hope for the best. Eat the pork. What are my sides of pork? I got another dish. Just make pork chops, just cook it for an hour. So it's in the oven right now for 300. We're gonna let that sit for an hour and a half. I think it's gonna be cooked. So hopefully I can just 400 degrees, so Gourmet maxes out at 400 degrees. Something important to consider as far as air fryers go. Is that really the max temperature? That seems like a really low max temperature. Maybe if I cook with bacon? No. Seafood, 400, bake 400. Yeah, cancel. All right, well, I know what I gotta do. It's fairly easy. All right, so it seems pretty straightforward at least. I think the best I could do is just let it sit in there for 400. Am I gonna have to cook it longer? You know, I'm kind of concerned. I don't know. I don't know if I have to cook it longer. I might just add it for like 2 or 3 extra minutes instead, maybe 400 degrees instead of 450. I mean, 50 degrees is a lot, but the thing is it's gonna be frying, so I don't know. Let me ask ChatGPT. Let me see. If let's see if ChatGPT can do cooking math. So ChatGPT, if a recipe calls for an air fry of 450 for 20 minutes, but my air fryer maxes out. Maxes 400 does not seem like a lot. I feel like it's kind of like a bit of a not as much as it should be. For 420, but my air fryer maxes at 400 degrees. How long should I do it for? So let's see what ChatGPT says. Here's a simple, reliable rule of thumb. Every recipe calls for hotter than my machine can go. If a recipe calls for 450 for 20 minutes, add 20 to 30% cooking time. So I should do about 25 minutes. Air fryers are powerful, so even at lower temps, the food still crisps. Just takes longer to reach the same temperature. So 11% temperature drop. So cook about 20%. Let's just say 25% longer. So 25 minutes. All right, so still 20 minutes, but up to 25 minutes. Fair enough. Okay. Pork belly. Let's see. Pork belly. Let's see what ChatGPT. Go to settings. There may or may not be menu for heat temp. You know what? Let me see. You're right. I should check the instructions. Let's see. Yeah, it maxes out 400, 400. Everything says max of 400. So, you know, I'm just going to have to deal with it. 400. That's just what we're going to go with. Nothing more to it. Just a little longer. All right. Well, that's that. We're going to come back. We're going to paint, and we're going to come back in about an hour, and we're just going to have to figure that out. So now that we know that the Gourmet maxed out at 400, I think it helps if you want to like look up recipes and stuff and see what temperatures you need. But you know, this is like the perfect size for my kitchen, and you know, I don't know. Let me see. Open it, and I want to pull this little plastic piece off, and I want to make it a little higher. I want to set it a little bit higher because I want to be able to easily get our ingredients out. What's going on here? Yep. So I just want to insert it a little bit and not have it all the way in. Just jam this in there. All right, so let's go paint, people. Isn't this exciting? I'm gonna wash my hands and then we're gonna go paint. All right, let's go. Exciting pork belly and paint, baby. It's all the best. For those settings, there may or may not. Just need a thermometer to check the temperature. Yeah, you know, I think an hour and a half in the oven at 300 will definitely get it to a good, safe temperature. But just make, you know, it's gonna. The whole idea right now is to dry it out. But let's go. You know, we're gonna play with it in the air fryer, and hopefully this recipe turns out as good as the photos. And again, if you're tuning in for the first time, I've got the pork belly in. You know, we're doing pork crispy pork belly, which is in the oven right now. Crispy pork belly in the oven right now. It's drying. And then it's a recipe from a website called Kwok Spots, KWOKSPOTS. And that's the credit to Kwok. Thank you for coming up with a good recipe. And we're going to let that finish, but before we do, I'm going to wash my hands, we're going to paint, and then we're going to come back out here and let it. Thank you, Omizu, for for sharing your wisdom. But those of you that care more about cooking, we're gonna move to painting, but we'll be back here in about an hour to check on and put the pork inside the air fryer. So if you want to stay tuned or you come back in about an hour, up to you. But in the meantime, let's look at my cats. Let's look at these cats. Where is she? Look at my cats. Okay. What are you doing? Look at cats. What are you thinking about, huh? What's going on in your mind? Share the news. Did you catch any bugs last night? How do you like to, what do you think about, Uki? What's on your mind right now? Will you talk? Can you say something, huh? I guess not. So let's go ahead and get moving. We're gonna get get to painting. So y'all can enjoy Pookie. I'm gonna be right back to grab this camera. Let's go. Talking to me? You streaming? Huh? Streaming? Yes. Hold on. You want to ask? Streaming. Huh? No. Ah, the cats are no longer here, so y'all have been looking at nothing. KP123, what's going on? We're gonna cook some pork here. Alexa, how much time is left on the timer? All right, let's get painting, huh? Is that exciting? Let's paint. Let's do some painting. Let's see. Plug this in so that we could charge. Let's see how everything is. All right, so we got this. This camera's good. This camera's all right. And then let's see this camera right here. This camera's good too. There we go. You know what? We can actually extend this camera out a little bit. Let's extend y'all out a little bit. I got to show my setup one day so people can have like a sample. All right, so what do we got? We got our meeting and we got our painting. Let's drop this down a little bit. Trying to access my laptop. Here we go. So in about an hour or so, we're gonna move. By the way, you know what I should be promoting? I'll be right back. I'm gonna be back grabbing one more thing. So, I have a new book on Amazon. So I got a new book on Amazon, and I'm gonna plug it right now because I can, because this is my channel, right? That's one thing about making your own like channels and stuff, is that, you know, when you go to other people's channels, like they get their moderators and they say you can't say this, you can't say that, you're not allowed to talk about the wonderful things that you're doing, you can't promote yourself. And you know what? That's the only way for artists, creative people to actually do anything. Is literally just to promote themselves, you know. And all these other platforms, they're like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Why? Moderator this, moderator that. So we're gonna promote ourselves here. I'm gonna promote myself. My latest book. Free the Scribble. Free the Scribble. Book. Free the Scribble book. And then disclaimer. Send. So there we go. If you want to pick up my book, you could tap right there and you could get my book. And you know what? It's free. Free the Scribble is free for, let me just make sure it's charging. Free for the next 3 days. 3 days left to get it for free on Kindle. If you want the paperback, you still got to pay. But if you want the Kindle version, you could just pay free $99 and you'll get the book. And I'm so confident that people will read the book and get through it that I made it for free, because you know, if in case anybody's wondering about self-publishing, let me talk about that real quick. So Amazon has a way that authors can get paid. And this is great, especially for emerging authors. But Amazon has a way that if you've ever thought about making a book, writing a book, anything like that, you can publish a book, offer it for free, especially if you're an emerging author and nobody knows about you, and you know you don't have a huge audience waiting for your books. You get paid on the number of pages read. So absolutely amazing. Amazon has made it so easy for creative people to build their own business, to go that entrepreneurial. Like, if you don't have an audience, then you can start building one. And it's just one of those things. So and as long as you write the quality materials that people want to see, then they can, as long as people are reading your book, you're going to earn off of your book. It's amazing. So thank you, Amazon. Thank you to the people that created Kindle. So Kindle The books in Kindle actually started by a different company though, and Amazon bought them out. I think it's called CreateSpace, Kindle Amazon CreateSpace, originally, and then somebody bought it and made it even better. So all I can say is, anybody that's creative, you know, a lot of people want to criticize Amazon, but the wonderful thing about Amazon is that Amazon has totally created so many more opportunities for creative people, and you know, although they are an absolutely monster of a company, a behemoth of a company that just dominates everything and probably, you know, can affect a lot of small businesses, they do give a lot of opportunities as well. So, Scout, Scout, you can't be up here, dude. Just paint. Don't save. I'm gonna save my Kindle book. I'm gonna open up my, maybe later. Let's open my reference. What are we painting right now? Yeah, the kitten's on the other side. He's not allowed close to me over here. Because if you could smell the room right now, it's just filled with paint smells. So I'm gonna turn on the fan actually to get rid of some of this odor. There we go. Oh, you need a fan. If you don't have a fan where you paint with oil paint, then you're probably gonna struggle because the smell is just so strong. All right, we haven't even painted yet. It's been like 10 minutes since I got into this room, and I still haven't even started. All right, let's see where this is going. You know what I could work on right now? That would be pretty fun. I could work on this tree. This tree is like this off color right now. So let's go ahead and maximize this image. And then we're gonna work on this tree. We're gonna add like hints of yellow. Let me try to find some good colors for this. Like hints of like a wooded brown. A wooded brown. Is that right? Can I do hints of like wooded brown? Like a very light yellow ochre, and we're going to do it with a really small brush all the way up and down. So let's see that. Okay, so let's grab some yellow ochre. I think I need like a dead yellow ochre color. So really like deadened yellow ochre gray. So we're going to add a little bit of yellow ochre, drop a bunch of white, find our white here. There we go. Drop a bunch of white. As always, as usual. And we're going to keep our gray. And I'm just gonna, let's see, how do I, let's go. What color is that? It's like, what even? That's just like a light gray. Maybe with some browns. Let's add some browns just in case. Some darker browns. We're gonna throw in this gambling. This is probably a little bit overkill for what I'm doing as far as the paint goes, but it's a very dark brown, raw umber. Let me see if I have any other browns in here before I jump into using our gambling. So gambling's like, I like to, well, you know what? Let's use it. Why not? I was gonna say, for things underneath the painting, like early layers, I don't like to use certain paints. I like to use different paints for different reasons. And let's go. So I want to say there's like a hint of blue, which I'm just going to put down a little bit of, let's put just a tiny hint of this cerulean blue. Just a tiny hint of this cerulean blue here. We're gonna work on this tree. And hopefully it all works out. So let's go. Everything's gonna be mixed with a lot of white, as usual, and some gray, maybe. White and gray. A little bit of yellow, white and gray. Let's grab some brown in here, just mixing, trying to find a good soft color to mix. A bit of gray in here just to create like a dead color. Ooh, this is a good dead color. So I'm doing like a gray mixed with white. Let me grab a mineral spirit right here just to make it, just to thin out this paint a little bit. Let's see how this starts to look. So he does a lot of like strokes. So let me take some of this paint off real quick. So this is after, I'm going to reveal this painting now. Who did this painting? The original is William Bouguereau. So William Bouguereau did the original of this painting, and I'm just doing an interpretation of it. So we're going to go like that. We're just going to cross around. Just going to build up this color little by little, detail by detail. He has a way with paint that is really tough to match. Let me add a hint of blue here, just a super light hint of blue. Let's see how this color starts to affect the tree. That's the goal, really, just to get these colors down across the tree here. That's the goal. I think this will take me a good, like, at least a half hour or so. So this is like the perfect thing to just, start laying down. Go like this. We're just going to go ahead and paint across here. Honestly, I might even want to darken this a little bit further. So we're going to take our burnt umber here, raw umber. Just start to go down with this. A little bit darker, it's just too bright. I don't like how this is like flopping. Let me see if I can get this to not flop. Push this back. Let me drop this down. Why is it doing that? I'm gonna make sure all this is locked. All these things are locked. Let's see. That's a little better. There we go. Problem solved. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit. Thank you for the promo, Kate. Don't know where I'd be without you. All right, so we're gonna go like this. Just figure out our colors around here. Some of these create like a dead color layer. There's too much brushwork here. Too much brushwork. Maybe I can reduce the brushwork here with some mineral spirit. use the brushwork here. So we're going to bring this down. There we go. Bring some shapes and forms down right here, like so. Let's grab some deeper yellow ochre. We're gonna actually throw just a little hint of it right here. Just a little hint of yellow ochre. Give a nice little wooded yellow ochre color right here. This is totally gonna transform the color of this tree, hopefully. That's the idea. So still keeping like a dead color, but gonna build up the tree. You know, I'm doing like low risk things first, right? Like once I get to the face and the body and all those details, you know, you really gotta do pretty well on that. But definitely the tree, I can get away with some creative liberties as far as, you know, the idea of like precision or accuracy goes. I'm actually really hungry. I've been looking forward to this pork belly all day, and I just hope it turns out right. Just hope it turns out right. So, you know, I've been concerned about like online food recipes, because I met this person one day, and I'm not going to say what country she was from, but she said that she runs a content farm. She runs a content farm in a different country outside of a Western country. And with her content farm, they basically just have AI make food recipes. And then they just publish them. And she has like an entire team that just does that for a living. An entire team of people that just has this content farm solely designed for food recipes. And she's like, and I was like, oh, is that accurate? Does it actually work? And she's like, oh yeah, you know, sometimes it's not, but mostly it's accurate. And here's the thing, she doesn't test out every single recipe. So basically there's literally just people that are just content farming things with AI. And I don't think that's a good thing, but you know what? She makes her money, and she gets her living doing that. So I don't know can't really debate them, right? It's not up for debate, because that is how she pays her people. So we're gonna add like little hints of yellow just to get some extra color into this. And honestly, I might finish this even quicker than I think, so. So how's this tree come along? Yeah, it's all right. It's a little too more abstract than I'd like it to be. It's a little bit it's a little bit abstract, but that's okay. You know what? In a few moments, I might change the brush just to get a different effect, because you can only use the same brush for so long before it starts to get boring. You know what? There is some blue down here, so we're going to capture some of that. Capture some of this blue. Little hints of blue, like right here. Let's go. Let's bring this down a little bit. Some blue up here, definitely. And actually, we can bring this blue up quite a bit. So we're going to just gently take this blue up, like so. And oh, how the tree is coming to life, right? This is great. This is how we want it. The tree is coming to life right before our eyes. And I'm trying to keep consistent brushwork. But I think it needs variety of color. That's like the secret. Is to really just have a variety of values coming across. And I want to be careful not to venture too far into this, into a dark, into the shadow and create too much highlight, because that's going to be very distracting. But I do want to create some like natural transitions around this tree space. So just create some natural transitions here. By the way, I've been thinking so much about AI lately. Who's been thinking about AI? I'm sure somebody's been spending a little bit too much time contemplating the new world order, aka AI. And you know what? I don't think it's going to be the people using AI. It's definitely going to be the companies that are creating AI, right? Oh, Omizu's going to bed. Good night, sir. Good night, Omizu. Take care, dude. Wish you the best. Omizu's the best, isn't he? Look at that. What a great guy. He says good night to everybody. He says hello to everybody. Does his live streams. Amazing. Just amazing. All right. And here we go. Let's go. Why is there all this mineral spirits? Like, there's not much mineral spirit left. I need to get more mineral spirit. Maybe instead of worrying about a new brush, I can figure out how I can use this brush in different ways. Right? Can't always depend on your brushes to do all the work for you. Sometimes you just got to find a new way to use what you already got. So let's go like this. Why did you redact the message, Kate? How does this look on camera? It looks okay, right? On camera. It does look very wooded, and that's what we're going for. So we're gonna come around and we're gonna bring this down. So we just want to let some of these shadows shine through. Let's grab a brown. let's try to find some areas around the top that just add little hints of like varieties of color here. I want to add some more yellows around here. Or it's very subtle. Like Bouguereau is like the ever so most subtle artist. Most subtle artist you could find. So let's keep this fairly subtle. Just let some of the shadows from underneath just shine through. Let's get a little hint of yellow and blue. We just want a little hint of green for reflection. Just a little hint of green here. Hint of green, ever so slight hint of green. Right here. See how that's going. All right, this tree is definitely getting some very wooded detail without painting every bark stripe. You know what I mean? Like they say that Bouguereau is a super like realist artist, but I think even Bouguereau had some impressionist qualities in him, right? Like he's not painting every piece of bark. And I'm basing when I refer to him, it's because I'm using his painting as a reference, right? This is basically a copy or interpretation of his painting, not a forgery, because I'm not trying to sell it as a Bouguereau painting, but an actual study of his work. And what I find in his work that's just really interesting is that you see he's probably one of the greatest painters, arguably, who ever lived, right? As far as like technical ability goes. Was he a super talented, brilliant like artist? Maybe, maybe not. But at minimum, he was an incredibly talented painter and storyteller with his paintings. At least in my opinion. And one thing that you find in his work is that as detailed as he was, he was selective, right? He didn't paint every leaf and every every pore on his skin. He was selective about what he believed was important. And I think that's something that could really be learned from him. So we're actually going to create one really dense area here. One really dense area. All right, KP, Pioneer Woman and Martha. So really this is just starting to add some color to our detail, right? Our colors to our trees, allowing the black that we painted or the really dark shade under here to shine through. So we're not painting totally over it. We're really just going to let some of it actually manifest into the rest of the painting. Right down here, we should probably get a little bit darker. We're going to bring our brown, some of our gray in. Our gray, Payne's gray. Get more hints of white. Maybe we could get a little bit more sparse with our colors here. Here we go. Just want to give it like a natural look. All right, let some of the shadows stand out, and let some of it just go in and blend in. And how do we cover the rest of this? All right, so we're gonna keep going across. I think I'm still adding too much, as opposed to letting some of the colors just allow themselves to manifest. How's that? Okay, not bad, not bad. Still going. You know, I need to darken some of this. So we're gonna go darker with this. I can let this, I can allow this to be what it's gonna be. Let's grab our yellow ochre here. I'm gonna go right down in here, capture some of the highlight. Let's go like this. Let's see, how are we creating some textured effects? Let me see if I can get a hint of red into this. Let me get some reds. Just a hint of red. It's a little bland with just the, you know, the blues and the cools. We want to get some warms in here. Now let's grab some of this color, paint right into here, go around the outside of the skirt here. Let's grab some of the lighter shade. We go lighter here. Bam, 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 bam. Grab some of this blue. The blue is really going to help a lot. So we're going to go down this blue here, just to create some color shifts. Some nice pops of color. And again, am I coming up with this totally on my own? No, I'm not. I am really just looking at Bouguereau's painting and I'm copying it, but I'm not even like copying exactly. I'm just kind of figuring it out, winging it. Because I think there's some parts of paintings where, you know, artists work on them and they're very specific, right? They're very important. They spend a lot of time and effort. But then there's like parts like this, like a tree, that although the artist was very specific about his movements, I don't think they were, you know, they didn't put super thought into every stroke, right? They had an idea and they executed it with bravado, with however they wanted to execute it, right? Like a tree is not something that, unless the tree is the subject, right? A tree, I'm guessing, was not the thing that he wanted people to notice, right? He didn't want people to go, and it's just my guess, I'm not actually a Bouguereau expert, but just based on observing what I'm seeing about his paintings, I'm gonna guess that he wasn't going, hey, I want people to see how good of a tree painter I am, right? He was going, he paints some of the greatest portraiture and figures, and that's what you want to see. But also thinking in context, right? Thinking in context about Bouguereau's time, he was constant, like the impressionists. All the super famous impressionists did not like him. They didn't like him because he represented the old ways, and he represented the old ways, the system, and they didn't like that. He represented the old system. I didn't like that about Bouguereau. So he's kind of like not the cool guy, right? He made a lot of money. He was a popular artist. He was very wealthy, according to legend, but he was not a popular artist among artists. He wasn't an artist, so. But I think when he painted things like trees, that was like his opportunity to be like, yo, I can paint. I can paint just as impressionisty as any impressionist. But he chooses not to. I kind of get that feeling watching his brushwork. That's the feeling I get from Bouguereau when I look at his brushwork. Oh, my other phone has shut off, which means it is no longer streaming. All right, fine. I don't want to be on Amazon anyway. Just kidding. I love Amazon. Amazon has kept me employed for a very long time because I do earn from Amazon. If you ever purchase my books or you purchase, you purchase through my links, any products, I make an income. So how's this looking? Yeah, this tree's pretty cool, right? It's got some highlights, it's got some low lights. Let's try to find a couple more places to bring in our yellow, and then we're going to be done with this section. So I might add a little yellow here, a little yellow, blend that in. Gonna add a little bit of yellow right here. Let's go with this red as well. Blood red. Some yellow around it. Let's go bring in. Let's give it a natural color. What's this little area? There's some weird highlights up here, so we're gonna go like this. Does that look natural? Does that feel like a natural tree? I hope so, because I'm almost done. I think with this tree, we're almost done here. All right, our tree has color. What else? What else can we do right now? Ah, yes, let's go add some green into this. So I can probably actually use some of this color and just start to build up like this wooded color texture into here. Just so I don't, you know what, I can actually just throw the paint down on here. No need to keep spending it. All right, and let's build up some greens now. So we've got this opportunity to make some green. So we're gonna go with a darker green. Let's see how this one looks. Build up some greens. Let me grab a darker green. I'm gonna grab a darker green here. Let's see, darker green, where are you at? Let's go, darker green, mix that in. And we're gonna go in here. Oh yeah, I could probably let this zoom in, right? Let's zoom in on this. Alexa, how much time is left on the timer? 20 minutes left. All right. So that means about 30 minutes because we're gonna let the let it go into the oven or the air fryer and sit for a while. I'm gonna go with a darker green here. Try to find some darker greens. Maybe, you know what? I'm even gonna add a hint of black. Because they say don't use black, so I'm gonna use black. People advise against using black, but I'm gonna use it anyway. Let's just go right into here. Boom, 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 boom. Just a little bit of black. Just to get some shadow going. And then we're going to use that black and we're going to paint over it with our green again. And hopefully that gives us a shadow, like a bit of diversity as far as the layers of color here. There we go. Yeah, that's not bad, right? Gives us a couple extra dimensions of paint. We're going to push this right down into here. Let's go. That's the one thing about oil paint though, when you work with oil paint, the paint's going to stay wet. So that's just something you got to consider when you're laying down your other colors, is this idea that it's going to be wet. So anything you lay down, any color that you lay down, if you paint over it, all you got to do is think about whatever color. That's it. You just got to think about those colors that are on top. So we're going to go like this. Let's see, we're going to grab our yellow ochre here. We're actually going to bring in some more yellow ochre. Let's paint like this. I can probably spice this up a little bit and just do some I'm gonna add a bright yellow to our green. Might do some things like this. Just to brighten it up a bit. Not enough color variety in that. It's kind of flat, honestly. I feel like it's a little flat. So let's go add a little bit of that. And then a little bit of this. We can actually bring some of this into here as well. You know what I should have done? I should have kept the tree color, which I think I have right here. Let me see. We're going to go more yellow. And we're going to go white. And then this raw umber here. And let's just mineral spirit it up. Get a little bit wet. I'm just going to go like this. Let's go across. Let's go. We're going to go paint this across here. And honestly, it probably needs to be a little bit more white. So we're going to grab our white here. Let's go into this. We're going to go highlight across. A little bit more white right into here. So what do we got going? So we're just building up this glaze, just building up some different color zones. Let's go bring this into here too. So it's the holidays, people. I hope everybody's having a good holiday. So, oh wait, y'all can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Wow. Look at how these colors are looking on this camera. It's actually looking pretty good. Wow. I'm impressed too. I am also impressed. That's why painting to me can also be like an out of body experience, because when I'm painting and I do things, sometimes even I'm impressed. Like I was like, oh, I didn't even try to do that. Like it was such an accident. And that's why I think Bob Ross was definitely onto something, you know? Definitely onto something. I'm sure Bob Ross, when he first started, he would just be painting and he'd be like, whoa, that actually looks pretty cool, man. Did not think that I could do that, but I did. I'm sure a Bob Ross documentary would be pretty good. I'm sure there already is one. I saw a good movie with Bob Ross and Owen Wilson. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's called Painter. I think the name of the movie is Painter, or something like that. And basically, Owen Wilson portrays a Bob Ross-like character. Not necessarily Bob Ross, but somebody like Bob Ross. And he's got the hair and everything. And we all know that it's like Bob Ross. But it was like hilarious. It's a funny movie because you got to think about, like, it's like there's so many things in the movie that, you know, kind of make fun of Bob Ross, because it's like, and here's some adult talk right now. Let's switch to adult conversation mode. And you know, one of the jokes in it is like, what's it like to hook up with Bob Ross? And I've never wondered that. But, you know, when you think about it, it must be, it's kind of funny, right? And they bring that into the movie. And I just think that's amusing. Because who would think of that? Who would think about writing that into the script? Like, hey, what's it like to actually hook up with Bob Ross, right? Nobody thinks of that on a daily basis, except for film writers and directors. Nobody really thinks about that kind of stuff. So you put it into a movie, and it got made. Let's go bring this green down. Where are we gonna go? Alexa, how much time is left on the timer? We're gonna add some hints of shadow here. What's up, Scout? What do you want, buddy? You hungry? He's hungry. My cat's hungry. My boy is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine. Give me like 15 minutes, man. Can you wait? Can you wait about 15 minutes, my friend? Yes? Good. Good boy. All right, let's go like this. Let's see, here's the bridge, got the shadow, the separation. We just need to create this little section too. So let's go ahead and separate that. Doesn't need to be perfect, we just... Mr. Scout, what are you doing, my boy? Come here, you want a hug? Really want a hug, buddy? Come here. Look at my cat. Look at my cat. Mr. Man, Mr. Scout. You're stinky. Why are you stinky, dude? Why are you stinky, pal? What are you, Mr. Stinky Boy? You need a bath. Gotta give you a bath tonight, huh? I like to sniff my cat. I like to sniff my cat as if I'm investigating him to see if he still smells like me. Okay, Scott, I'm gonna come feed you in a minute. Alexa, how much time is left on the timer? All right, we got about 5 minutes left, which means, oh wow, my phone is charging, but it just didn't charge fast enough. It's so weird. All right, let's see, 5 minutes and 55 seconds. And then I gotta leave it in there for 20 minutes. So, should I even keep painting? No, you know what? I'm gonna wrap this up for tonight. I should clean my materials. Clean off my materials. And we're gonna go straight to cooking, and then we're gonna talk about books. We're gonna review some books after the pork. I'm gonna do some book reviewing. Review some books and then paint. Scout, you acting out. Mr. Scout is acting out. That's okay, he's hungry. I'm gonna go feed our cats. But look at this. We're starting to build some color into our painting. It's not just looking gray and, gray and gloomy. It's actually got some color now. And that starts to create some differentiation. What is going on? Why is that not closing? There we go. What the heck? Oh. Okay, you got any new songs out? Has people been talking? Because it's interesting because you're the only one. You're chatting. You're chatting. How can you still be number 3? Something to work toward. That's kind of cool. How's your job going, Kate? I know you've been working. How's that going? We gotta feed our cats right now. Hold on. All right, join me on this little adventure as we feed our cats. Alexa, how much time is left on a timer?
You have 1 minute and 50 seconds left on your 1 hour and 20-minute timer.
All right, so about... Alexa, how much time is left on a timer?
You have 1 minute and
11:20, so I have about 10 minutes, 11 minutes. What's up, Scout? Why are you looking cute, dude? Alright, let's feed some cats, alright? They're hungry. Let's see here. Give them a nice clean bowl. We're gonna make a little concoction here, actually. Grab some. Let's see, what kind of. My cats like me because I'm a good chef. So what kind of concoction are we gonna make here? We're gonna go with some Friskies. Let's do some Friskies right now. We're gonna do some Friskies pate. Alexa off. Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
And then we're gonna throw some churu on top. A little churu. Okay, shh. You're gonna get your food. A little churu on top. And let's top it off with some Pounceables. They've had some treats already, but I'm just gonna throw a few on top here just to top it off. So technically you're only supposed to give them about 14 bites. So between the two of them, they probably had about 7 each. So this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's a couple cats that are gonna eat. And let's just feed them, and then the other one is gonna have a few more. Now for the mystery, let's see. Let us see how this air fryer works. Need to get the instructions because I don't know if I should preheat it or not. So let's see how this works. Goes display, preheat, cord and plug safety, plug it in, polarize, never external timer switch, voltage, timer, presets, preheat. Preheating the air fryer before adding food will generally deliver the best results when cooking multiple batches in a row. Only preheat first batch. Tap preheat. Crisper tray. Place the crisper in the basket with the arrow on the tray facing the back of the basket. Ooh, okay, so that's good. The arrow has to face the back of the basket. Totally missed that instruction. So let's see. Ah, the arrow. The arrow faces the back. Good to read instructions. Alright, so what else? We got our air fryer, and it says preheat. The air fryer is preheating. How do you place the food in there? Turn food. Using air fryer, remove all packaging, stickers, label, any tape securing the pan to the unit. Pull out the basket for cleaning. Remove the tape securing it into place. Secure the unit with one hand. Clean the basket with hot water, some dishwashing liquid, and non-abrasive sponge. Wipe the outside and inside with a moist cloth. First few uses, there might be a hot plastic smell. It's normal, but it will go away. Do not fill it with liquid, any oil. Do not put anything on top. Now place it against the wall or other appliances. It needs 4 inches. Place the fryer on a stable place. All right, so we definitely have to clean this. So let's clean this baby first. So we're gonna use a some dishwashing soap, non-abrasive device. This is interesting to me because to clean this, but I guess it's okay. It feels weird that this has to be cleaned. Wipe this thing down too. Preheat it. Yes, I need to preheat it. That will happen. But I wonder if I can just stick it in there while it's wet, or whether I have to let's see, wipe it outside with a moist cloth. During the first few uses, hot plastic smell. Tap the preset, pre-enabled, tap to start. Once it's preheated, beat 5 times. Basket will be hot. Remove the basket, place the food. Turn it to air fryer to automatically become good. Remove the basket, place food inside. The basket's going to be hot. Remove the basket, place, turn to the air fryer. Ensure preheat is disabled and tap start. Spray food with cooking oil for a crisper finish. I don't have cooking oil. Spray. No, I don't care too much about the spray food with cooking oil. Okay, so I need to spray it with cooking oil, but I'm not going to do that. Let's see. All right. All right, so just wiping this down. First time using an air fryer, people, so this is a little adventure if anyone's... Okay, you got an air fryer? What do you cook in the air fryer? Tell us about the cooking adventures, the air fryer cooking adventures of KP. You should do a cooking show, KP. Why not? Could catch on. That's why I spent all these hours painting. But, the thing that most people enjoy is the cooking, which I find quite interesting. So there we have it. We're going to do that. Let's go put that right there. Okay, so the arrow points to the back. Oops, it's dropped right in. Okay. Arrow goes to the back. Stick this in. Now let's start this preheat. Air fry, preheat, 400 degrees, 25 minutes. Preheat. Start. go. All right, so it's preheating. Ooh, it's got a funny sound. So let's see. Remove the basket, place it on a heat-resistant surface. Let's say, tap start. Display will preheat. And when it's ready, you add food, move the basket, put the food in there. I could spray it with some cooking oil to make it more fried. Oh, you know what? I should read the instructions first. Let me see. Do I just put it in there raw, or I'm still watching my own stream? All right, so let's see. 450. Move all the salt from the skin. Brush it with a layer of oil. Ah, that's what I got to do. Brush it with a layer of oil. Oven at the convection. All right, so once that's going, 450 degrees. So again, I'm doing this recipe by a guy named Kwok Spots, KWOK Spots. So what I got to do here is I need to remove the salt. Once I get it out, I'm going to remove the salt. And then we're going to brush it with some oil. Alexa, how much time is left on a timer? All right, less than 10 seconds left on my 10-minute timer. Alexa, off. All right, let's check out this pork belly. Here we go, some pork belly with all the salt on top. So the pork belly has all this salt on top. And now our job is to remove the salt and just dump the pork belly into the tray. So I'm gonna separate the pork belly and the salt here. I'm trying to be careful not to touch the edges. No, I should probably pull it out and just put it on a plate. This little plate right here. There's a lot of juices, so a lot of juices. Oh, this juice would be so good. I want to save this juice. Hold on. I'm going to save this juice in a cup, because this will make like a perfect broth. I'm going to save this pork juice in a broth in a cup somewhere. You can just tell that this is going to be a great, an amazing flavor here. So I want to save the pork juice. We're going to dump it out right into here. Look at that. All right, that's too much salt. But, all right, whatever. I'll let that simmer in there. Oh, that is hot. Woo! Very hot, but looks very good so far. So far so good. So far so good. Looking like the pictures almost. Nice and pinked. Trying to get all the salt off because that's keeping it dry. And then we're not burning the sides. We don't want the sides to burn. So right now, I think it could be a little pinker, but that's all right. So what do we do now? Oh yeah, I got to cover it with a little bit of oil. So we're gonna go kind of oil. We're gonna do sesame oil. Sesame oil is always good for flavor. So we're gonna brush it with some sesame oil. Brush some of the salt off. We're gonna crisp it with sesame oil, because the sesame oil is gonna help it crisp. So just a hint of sesame oil. Ooh, that's a little too much, but whatever. All right, so we're gonna let go like this. Use my fingers to. All right, here we go. Brushing this around, brushing the sesame oil on top. Oh, that's hot, hot, hot. Probably shouldn't have done it that way, but now we're just gonna dump it into our air fryer. So let's go like this. It's right on top. Right on top, baby. Alright, so 25 minutes. There we go. And let's see. So we got about, let's reduce the time by 1 minute. It's already been cooked. I don't want to overcook it. We could probably toss this. All that salt. Maybe I should smell this. Alright, what now? We do that, make some sauce. So I should make a little sauce here. Yeah, definitely. Oh, y'all didn't even see me put that in there. Well, it's cooking in there. It's going now. So, unfortunately, I don't have the video of that, but. All I did was pull out the basket and then dump it in there, so nothing too wild. It does smell like heavy plastic though, which I'm not a fan of, but I guess if it hasn't, nobody has experienced anything horrible yet, then it should be okay. And then now let's get a good plate to prepare our dish on. And we're also gonna have leftovers from last night, so this will be an appetizer for our leftovers. Let's see, where's our leftovers? Got some leftovers from last night, so we'll leave this out, and it'll give it about 15, like 10 minutes. Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes. Yeah, we'll say one thing. It definitely smells very plastic. It's very plastic. Thank you, Kate. Alright. Such a plastic smell. Maybe we should just hang out in the kitchen or something. You know what? We could be a good kitchen person and actually do some cleaning. I should probably do that, right? Get some cleaning done while we're here. I never thought that I'd ever be doing a live stream cooking and cleaning. That's good. If you want to keep your kitchen productive, it's got to be clean, right? You gotta have the tools and the supplies. You gotta have the tools and supplies ready. By hand, even though we have a dishwasher, our dishwasher is not exactly like the best, so I still like to do dishes by hand just to get the best. I trust myself more than a dishwasher. Clean this baby up. peppers. Here's a little dishwashing trick. Let's see who's here. Michael Wilbur. What's up, dude? I got an apron, but my apron is in my bedroom, and I don't actually use an apron to cook. Sometimes I cook shirtless, even if I'm like cooking really hot foods. It's one of those things. But you know, I'm on camera, so it's got to be a little bit more PG friendly, right? PG-13 friendly. Michael Wilbur, what's up with you, dude? How are you? What's going on? You living your best life? Of course you are. Michael Wilbur lives amazing artist's life. I guess I'm not going to do all the dishes, but I'll leave this at least. This needs a soak. That needs a soak for a bit. This rice thing needs a soak. Michael Wilbur says, back in Texas.
Is that the air fryer making the noise?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, food should be ready in about 15 minutes.
Cool. Good. I need a break from writing, sitting on that bed. So what do you put in there to fry it?
What do you mean?
You put liquid or? I know it's air.
Well, you should never put oil in there,
Okay.
but you can put oil on the food.
Okay.
So that's the general idea. You should read the instructions before you ever use it.
Okay. Hi, kitties. You guys hungry? Six.
I already fed the one bowl, but
Oh yeah, I see. Okay.
didn't even finish that one bowl.
You like it separate.
Huh?
You like it in a separate bowl. Because they're like a choice. Right? Right, guys? Right? Kitties! Hi!
15 acres. Michael's got 15 acres. Look at that. Michael's living the life, dude. Michael Wilbur lives the life.
That's what he does with 15 acres.
What do you do with 15 acres, Michael? What does a brilliant artist like Michael Wilbur do with 15 acres of property? Probably throws some massive, massive parties, right?
Bonfire. All right.
Alright, so we got 14 minutes of time left. So we're going to heat up our leftovers from the previous night, and that's going to be our main, entree. Appetizers are the pork bellies. Separate some of this. separate this food from last night. Y'all were here for the cooking last night, so today we're separating the noodles because of the leftovers. Yes, we eat leftovers too. Leftovers are great. Yo, the student of war. Michael's got 55,000 acres. Oh, for back taxes. Apron is in the bedroom. Well, Cat. Kate says hi. So in a few moments here, we're going to be pulling our pork belly out of the air fryer and just... What's up, Pookie? Why are you looking at me all funny? Come here, let me give you a hug. Who wants to see my Pookie? Look at my Pookie. Ow. Look at my Pookie. Look at little sassafras. Little sassafras little lady. I've been so excited waiting for this dish. Your Galaxy has changed his name. Boom, boom. You know, I could probably still do some more dishes. I've got so much time. When you have time, you should fill it with some activity, right? I don't usually have time to do dishes while I cook, right? Because I'm usually like constantly cooking until the food's done. But Alexa off. What did I set that timer for? I don't even remember why I set a timer with Alexa. She just went off. It's not good to forget why I set a timer. Boy, there's so much oil and like particles in here. Alexa, how much time is it? Never mind. Who's excited? Your meal with potatoes and mixed vegetables, asparagus with potatoes. Very nice. Air fired. Let's go here. Now let's go. This is clean, so we're gonna put this right here as a way for our air fryer to get done. And what else do I need to do right now? Air fryer's waiting. Oh yeah, I need to make some sauce. So what kind of sauce should I make? I don't have like regular. I don't have regular materials. So let's do some soy sauce. We're gonna create a little concoction here. A little bit of soy sauce. A lot of soy sauce. With a dash of vinegar. And maybe some sesame oil. This should be good, right? Let's see, a little hint of sesame oil. What else? What else do we want to throw in here? I'm gonna go oyster sauce. Oyster sauce always adds some nice flavors. Some nice sweet flavors. Let's stir this up. Do a quick little taste test to see if it's going to go too well with pork. Yeah, it should go okay with pork. Maybe a little bit salty, but not bad. Alright, so excited, so excited. Hey, Kat! Food's going to be ready in like less than 5 minutes. How's our food looking? Just wanted to make sure that's cooked all the way through. The bottom, yeah, the middle's a little uncooked. This one should be fully cooked, right? Pretty good. Stir it up a little bit. No veggies. Ah, you didn't do any veggies. I got onions. No veggies though. I am so excited here. I'm gonna grab a knife too. Get a knife ready. We are going to cut into the pork with our handy dandy pre-sharpened knife. I'm going to cut straight into the pork from here. Who's ready? Who's ready to see some pork belly? Let's see how it turns out. It's the countdown timer, so I pretty much followed all of QuackSpot's rules. So if this turns out good for me, except, you know, this is 400 for 25 minutes instead of 450 for 20 minutes. So hopefully that doesn't change it too much. Hopefully I don't overcook it, which I should probably just check real quick to see how it's looking. Oh, just a little longer. Give another 2 minutes. Honestly, it's not as crispy as I hoped it to be. Or, like, the top is not as crispy as I hoped it to be. The skin. So I must have done something wrong. I don't know. It's the final countdown, people. 30 seconds. Let's see. Alexa off. I mean, never mind. I need a grabber. Grabbing device. Here we go. Alexa. I keep saying Alexa whenever I hear these sounds. Stop. All right. Interestingly enough, the skin didn't get fried. Only the area around it did. So I wonder why that is. But look, I think it's a little. I think we cooked it a little much, but let's see how it looks once we. Oof. There's a lot of oil at the bottom. Probably need to clean this myself, but let's see here. We're gonna cut this into a few different pieces. Let's go like this. See which way did it cut horizontally? So we're just gonna go. It's so crispy. It's very crispy. Might be a little too crispy. Yeah, that is very crispy. Ooh. That is some really crispy pork. Look at that skin, actually. It might be a little too hard. It looks good. A little bit hard. But actually pretty good. So not bad. If you look on the inside, if you look at the pieces, it actually looks pretty good on the inside. We just got to make sure that, you know, that this gets cut all the way through. It tastes really good, actually. The flavor's good. The crisp is a little bit too crisp, but not bad. I really should be using a cutting board for this. Should be using a cutting board. Looks really good, actually. It didn't crisp the way I wanted it to, but the inside looks so perfect. The insides of it. So we're gonna cut this down this way. Not bad, not bad. Not bad at all. We're going to cut these two pieces separated. All right. Presentation needs a little work, but actually looks really good. A little salty on the salty side, so I could probably use more seasoning depending on the size. But as far as the overall appearance goes, it's good. We made something tasty, made something good. I'm gonna clean off our knife. Cat! Food's ready. So there we have it. Our first experiment with pork belly, and it looks pretty dang good. So everybody here, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking it out, the art and the food. And we're done for tonight. Take care and hope you all have a great day. Thank you.
Smells good.